The morning air in Birmingham, Alabama, bit at exposed skin. Not cold enough for snow, but sharp enough to make your breath clow and your fingers ache. People hurried in and out of the Children's Medical Center on 7th Avenue, their scarves tight, coffee cups clutched like lifelines, moving as if speed could outpace their reasons for being there. Amid the rush, one figure stayed still, perched on a flattened cardboard box near the revolving doors. He was a boy, small for his age, with a faded green jacket too big for his frame, sleeves rolled up to free his hands. His name was Caleb Cal Moore, 9 years old, and his boots were patched with silver duct tape that glinted faintly under the hospital's fluorescent glow. A navy beanie sagged low over his ears, and in his lap rested a tattered sketchbook, its pages curling at the edges. Cal didn't beg or speak unless spoken to. He just sat, sketching or watching the world move past him, his dark eyes catching details others missed. Most Saturdays, Cal was there, a quiet constant. Some staff had tried shooing him away when he first appeared months ago, but he never caused trouble, so they let him be. A few nurses tossed him smiles. A janitor named Lou sometimes slipped him a granola bar. People assumed he had a parent inside, maybe a sibling in treatment, or perhaps he was just waiting for someone to pick him up. In a place heavy with worry, no one pried too deep, across the street, a sleek black SUV idled by a fire hydrant, its engine humming softly. Inside sat Michael Harper, a man in his mid-40s, his jaw tight and his dark hair flecked with gray. His tie hung loose, his shirt creased from too many hours in hospital chairs. Michael had money, his car screamed it. Polished to a mirror shine, but his eyes told a different story, hollow and tired, like a man running on fumes. In the back seat, strapped into a booster chair, was his daughter, Lilia, 7 years old, her auburn curls tucked under a knit cap, her legs hidden beneath a quilted blanket. Her hazel eyes stared out the window, unblinking, silent. 6 months ago, a car accident had stolen her ability to walk, turning a girl who once chased fireflies and climbed oak trees into someone who barely spoke. Michael opened the back door, his movements careful, and lifted Lily into his arms. Her weight felt wrong, too light for a child her age, and it twisted something in his chest every time. He didn't notice Cal at first, his focus locked on the hospital entrance. But Cal saw him. The boy's gaze lingered on the way Michael cradled Lily, like she was glass, and the way her eyes avoided the building, fixed instead on the gray sky. Cal's pencil paused mid-sketch, his brow furrowing. Then, just as Michael passed, Cal stood, his voice cutting through the cold. "Sir, I can help your daughter walk again." Michael froze, not because the words were loud, they weren't, but because of how they landed. Soft and certain, like a stone dropped into still water. He turned, his eyes narrowing. "What did you say?" Cal stepped closer, tucking his sketchbook under his arm, his expression steady. "I can help her walk again." Michael's grip on Lily tightened, a flicker of anger sparking in his gut. "That's not funny, kid." Cal didn't blink. "I'm not joking." His voice held no trace of doubt, just a quiet conviction that felt too big for a boy in patched boots. Michael studied him the duct tape, the cracked glasses dangling from his collar, the faint smudge of dirt on his cheek. This had to be a scam, or maybe just a kid's delusion. He shook his head and walked inside, the glass door swallowing them. But Cal's words clung to him, stubborn and unshakable, like a song stuck in his head. Inside, Michael sat through Lily's appointments, nodding mechanically as doctors and therapists repeated familiar phrases. Long-term recovery, manage expectations. Progress takes time. He'd heard it all before, but today, his mind kept drifting back to the boy outside. Cal's voice wasn't hopeful or desperate, it was sure. Like he'd seen the future and knew it was true. By noon, when Michael carried Lily back to the SUV, the sun had broken through the clouds. Though the air still stung, Cal was still there, sitting on his cardboard, sketchbook open, but his eyes locked on Michael like he'd been waiting. Michael hesitated, glancing at Lily, whose head rested on his shoulder, her eyes half closed. He set her in the car, then turned, his voice low but sharp. "You again? Why would you say something like that? You think this is a game?" Cal shook his head, his beanie slipping slightly. "No, sir, I don't think it's a game." Michael's jaw clenched. "You don't know her. You don't know what she's been through, what we've been through." Cal stood, his small frame steady. I don't need to know her to help. Michael crossed his arms, skepticism hardening his tone. You're what? 10, 9. Cal corrected, unfazed. And you think you can do what doctors can't? With what? Kid. Magic. Cal's fingers brushed the edge of his sketchbook. My mom used to help people walk. She was a physical therapist. She taught me things how the body remembers. Even when it feels like it's forgotten, Michael stared, caught off guard. The boy's calm was unnerving, like he was carrying a truth too heavy for his years. A nurse walked by, giving Cal a quick wave, and Lou the janitor nodded at him from the sidewalk. They knew him, trusted him, and that made Michael pause. I'm not giving you money, Michael said flatly. Didn't ask for any, Cal replied. Then what do you want? Cal took a breath, his eyes steady. 1 hour. Let me show you. Michael glanced at Lily, now watching them quietly from the car. Her fingers twisting the edge of her blanket. He rubbed his temple, exhaustion warring with a flicker of something else hope. Maybe, or desperation. I should walk away, he muttered. Cal didn't move. I should call security, Michael added, but his voice lacked conviction. Finally, he sighed. Fine. You want to waste your time, kid. Meet us at Carver Park tomorrow. No, and don't be late. Cal nodded once, his face unreadable. I'll be there. Michael climbed into the SUV and drove off, avoiding the rearview mirror where Cal stood. Small but resolute, hands at his sides. That night, Michael couldn't sleep. He sat in his home office, papers scattered across his desk, none of them holding his attention. His mind kept replaying Cal's words, the boy's quiet certainty cutting through the fog of his doubt. Lily wheeled herself to the doorway, her voice soft. Daddy, who was that boy? Michael turned, forcing a smile. Just someone we met at the hospital. She tilted her head, her curls catching the lamplight. He looked like he believed I could walk. Michael's breath caught. She mimicked walking with her fingers across her armrest, a faint smile tugging at her lips. For the first time in months, Michael felt something stir in his chest, not the usual ache, but a spark of possibility, fragile and dangerous. Carver Park was a faded patch of green, with a chip basketball court, swings that creaked, and a grassy field that saw more weeds than soccer games. At noon on Sunday, Cal was already there, sitting on a bench under a sprawling oak, his gym bag at his feet, a folded towel beside him. His jacket hung loose, but his eyes were sharp, scanning the park. Michael's SUV pulled up at 12. Unrate? He didn't speak as he lifted Lily from the car and settled her into her wheelchair, his movements stiff, like he was bracing for disappointment. Cal stood as they approached, his voice polite but warm. Hi again. Lily waved shyly, her fingers fluttering. Hi, she said, her voice brighter than Michael expected. Cal smiled at her. Hi, Lily. Michael's brow furrowed. How do you know her name? You said it yesterday. Cal replied simply, I remember things. Michael gestured at the towel, his tone skeptical. So, what's this? Some kind of magic trick. Cal ignored the jab. Kneeling to open his bag, he pulled out a pair of socks, a tennis ball, a small jar of cocoa butter, and a plastic container with warm rice wrapped in cloth. This is what my mom used, he explained. The rice helps loosen muscles. The ball's for pressure points. Michael folded his arms, unconvinced. Cal turned to Lily, his voice gentle. Is it okay if I work with your legs? It won't hurt, I promise. If anything feels weird, just say stop. Lily glanced at Michael, who sighed. Go ahead. Just be careful. Cal nodded and knelt beside her wheelchair, carefully lifting the blanket from her legs. He placed the warm rice pack over her thighs, watching her closely. Too hot. She shook her head, a small smile forming. It feels nice. Cal waited a few minutes, then began moving her legs gently, small rotations, side to side, up and down. Michael hovered, his jaw tight, ready to intervene, but Cal's hands were steady, his focus absolute. You ever done this before? Michael asked, suspicion lacing his voice. Cal didn't look up. My mom took me to shelters after school. She helped veterans, people who couldn't afford therapy, said everyone deserves to feel human. I carried her bag, watched her work. Michael's skepticism wavered. And she taught you this. Yeah, Cal said. The body doesn't need fancy machines, just attention. He tapped Lily's knee lightly. Feel that? She shook her head. her voice small. No, Cal nodded, unfazed. That's okay. I'll keep asking. He kept talking to her, asking about her favorite color purple, her favorite food mac and cheese, what she watched on TV cartoons about talking animals. At first, her answers were shy, but soon she was asking him questions. Do you live here? Kind of. Do you go to school? I used to. Why not anymore? Cal paused, his fingers stilling for a moment. My mom got sick. Then she passed. Been figuring things out since. Lily's face softened. I'm sorry. Cal gave her a small smile. Thanks. Michael's posture eased, though he stayed silent, watching. After 30 minutes, Cal tapped Lily's ankle. Feel that? She blinked, hesitant, maybe like a little push. Cal looked at Michael, who frowned. She says that sometimes in therapy. Cal nodded. Yeah, but therapy's in a room with machines. Kids get nervous. Tighten up. Out here, he gestured to the open park. The breeze rustling the oak leaves. It's different. Feels freer. Michael didn't respond, but his eyes lingered on Cal, reassessing. When the session ended, Cal showed Lily a few toe-wiggling exercises. Her face scrunched in concentration. Nothing moved, but she didn't look defeated. I'll show you again next week, Cal said, standing. It takes time. But your muscles, they still know what to do. You just gotta remind them. Lily grinned. Okay. Michael cleared his throat, his voice gruff. We're not promising anything. Cal nodded. I'm not either. Just trying. Michael stared at him, then pulled out a $20 bill. Holding it out, Cal stepped back. No, sir, I don't want money. Michael's brow rose. Then why do this? Cal shrugged, his eyes on Lily. Because she smiled. The next Sunday was warmer, the air soft with early spring. Cal wore his jacket anyway, it had been his mom's, and slipping it on felt like carrying her with him. She used to call it his healer's coat, said it reminded her why she kept going. At Carver Park, he set up as usual, towel spread out, rice pack warmed, tennis ball ready. By noon, Michael's SUV rolled up, and Lily was already waving before the car stopped. Hi, Cal, she called, her voice bright. Michael looked less guarded, though exhaustion still lined his face. He gave Cal a nod, a small gesture, but more than last week. Cal knelt beside Lily, starting with the rice pack. This time, she was eager, trying to press her heel down when he asked. Nothing happened, but she didn't falter. It's okay, Cal said. Your brain's just looking for the right path, like finding your way through a crowd. Michael stood nearby, arms crossed, but his stance was looser, like he was settling into the moment. Why do you do this? He asked suddenly. Cal glanced up, surprised, because I remember how my mom made people feel like they mattered. I want to do that. Michael nodded slowly. You ever think about doing something else? Sometimes, Cal admitted, but this feels right. 20 minutes in, Lily's toes twitched barely, but they moved. Michael's breath caught. His eyes locked on her feet. He didn't speak, just watched, his hands clenching and unclenching. The next few Sundays followed the same rhythm. Cal teaching Lily ankle exercises with rubber bands, rolling the tennis ball under her feet to wake her nerves, showing Michael how to massage pressure points. Each week, Lily moved a little more, her confidence growing. But the fourth Sunday was different. When the SUV pulled up, Lily's eyes were red. Her arms crossed tightly. Michael's voice was sharp as he lifted her into the chair. She doesn't want to do it today. Cal approached slowly. What happened? Lily glared at the ground. I tried moving my legs this morning, and nothing worked. I'm tired of trying. It's stupid. Michael looked away, his jaw tight. She's been upset all weekend. Cal knelt beside her, his voice soft. You think I don't get tired? You think I didn't cry when my mom was sick? And I couldn't do anything but watch. Lily's eyes flicked to him, hesitant. You're allowed to be mad, Cal said. I'm mad sometimes too, but if you stop now, the part of you that wants to walk might stop too. Silence hung between them. Then Lily whispered, I'm scared. Michael turned, startled she'd never said that before. Cal leaned closer. I'm scared too, but scared doesn't mean stop. It means you're close to something big. Lily wiped her eyes. Okay, let's try again. They worked quietly that day, Cal guiding her gently, Michael stepping in to help. After 30 minutes, Lily's right foot slid forward, not just a toe, but her whole foot, slow and stiff. Michael dropped to his knees, his voice shaking. Do it again. She did. Cal smiled, but stayed quiet, letting the moment belong to her. That night, Michael stood outside his house, staring at the stars. Lily was inside, laughing as she told her aunt about the footslide over the phone. For the first time in months, their home felt alive, not like a sterile ward. Michael's chest felt lighter, the guilt and fear that had choked him for so long starting to crack. By the sixth Sunday, Michael was all in. He brought a mat, a folding chair, even a sandwich for Cal, setting it beside his bag without a word. Cal murmured a thanks. Tucking it away, Lily was ready, giving Cal a thumbs up. Let's do it. They worked through stretches, and then Cal pulled out a belt, placing it under her knees. She's going to try lifting both knees. He told Michael, we balance her. She moves. Michael blinked. You sure? Cal nodded. She's ready. Lily focused, her face tight, and her knees lifted an inch. But they lifted. Michael's voice broke. You did that. She grinned. I did it. Cal's eyes gleamed. The body remembers. You just gotta let it talk. After the session, Michael crouched beside Cal. Where do you go after this? Cal shrugged. Around. Michael's voice softened. You got a place to sleep. Cal hesitated. Sometimes Michael exhaled, rubbing his neck. You ever think about staying with us for a while? We got a guest room. Cal's eyes widened. You serious? Dead serious. Cal looked down, his voice small. Your neighbors might not like a kid like me. Michael laughed, sharp and warm. After what you've done for Lily, they'd better keep quiet. Cal didn't answer right away, but his fingers tightened on his bag, hope flickering in his eyes. The next morning, Cal stood outside Michael's house, backpack over one shoulder, a rolled-up blanket under his arm. Michael opened the door, coffee in hand. Right on time, Lily wheeled to the hall, her face lighting up. Cal, he grinned. Hey, superstar. Michael stepped aside. Welcome home. The days that followed were small, but profound. Cal got a room with a real bed, clean sheets, a desk for his sketches. He never missed a morning stretch with Lily, who was now moving both feet, her brain and legs reconnecting. One night, as Michael washed dishes, he glanced at Cal, sketching at the kitchen table. You ever think about going back to school? Cal looked up. Sometimes. You're smart, Michael said. You could go far. Cal tilted his head. I want to help people walk like my mom. Michael turned, his voice firm. Then let's make it happen. Cal's smile was small but real. Word spread quietly at first. A nurse saw Lily at Carver Park, standing briefly, smiling, and told her sister in patient services. A therapist asked Michael, is it true Lily's improving? He nodded. Thanks to someone unexpected. Soon, families started showing up at the park first, too. Then 5, then a dozen. Parents brought kids with walkers, crutches, or wheelchairs, all drawn by stories of the boy who helped Lily move again. Cal never turned them away. He showed parents how to use towels and rice packs, talked to kids like they were equals. You're not broken, he told a boy with a brace. You're just finding a new way to be strong. Lily watched, her hands folded, and later told Michael, I like seeing him help people. It feels like I'm part of something good. The park transformed. A pastor brought chairs. A diner dropped off bagels. Someone made flyers, free movement classes. Sundays at noon, Carver Park. A reporter came, and Cal let her write about it, asking only that they not use his full name. The story ran in the Birmingham Post, calling him a 9-year-old with the Gift Justice League, Wonder Woman, and Aquaman all rolled into one. But when a 9-year-old boy with duct-taped boots claims he can heal, you listen because sometimes the smallest hearts carry the biggest truths. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Subscribe to H Stories on YouTube for more tales of hope and healing, and share this one to keep the spark alive.